Hey everyone, I am here to go through my predictions for the knockout bracket for the World Cup. Why should you care what I think? Well, how about my track record? I predicted the original group stages. I got 11 of the 12 predicted correct for the first seed. All right. I got 6 of the second seeds correct out of 12. Oh, and one of those incorrect second seeds, first and second seed flipped. I had Portugal down as getting first seed and Colombia getting second, and they switched. Uh, and that was it. That was only my first. That was my only first seed that was incorrect, and even my second seeds were over 50% correct. I even got the fact that Sweden was going to get third, but still make the group of 32. All right, that was like my only third place pick, deliberate, and I was like, they're gonna make it. They're too good, and they were. They were great team. All right, hate to be the one who has to face them. So that's actually how good I have done with this World Cup. So let's get into it really quickly. We have at the top of my brackets Germany facing Paraguay. Germany's a better team. And in fact, I don't think any of the third seeds are getting out of the group of 32. Um, Sweden would be the one is probably the best third seed among the third seeds. But unfortunately, they're facing France, which is the next one. Sweden would be the third seed. You're like, oh, they could actually win this. No, they're facing France, who's really really good, and France is going to beat Sweden. All right, so sorry, Sweden. Um, you were you were a good third seed team. You should have been a second seed team given how good you were, but you have to be going against one of the best teams in the bracket. First off, there are teams that got first seed. I think you could take it too. Um, France is not one of them. We then have South Africa versus Canada. It's two second seeds going against each other. It could be an interesting one. South Africa kind of slipped in there at the end and managed to pull off a second seed. I think Canada will beat them. Canada has home field advantage. They're playing, I believe, they have kind of home field advantage. They're actually playing in the United States for the first time. But all right, the United States is going to root for Canada. All right, we consider Canada our friends. We're going to be rooting for them. And there's going to be a lot more Canadians in that stadium than there are going to be people from South Africa, because technically Canada could just do a road trip and get there, especially if they lived in Vancouver. All right. Then we got the Netherlands versus Morocco. I think this is like Morocco's a tough second seed to get. I think the Netherlands are better and are likely to win it, but this is probably one of the ones I'm least confident about. We got two more second seeds going against each other, and that's Portugal versus Croatia. And I'm favoring Portugal, though I haven't particularly liked what I've seen from them in this World Cup. And Croatia is not a bad team. They that's another one where I'm like, this is a tough one to call. And then we got Spain versus Australia. Sorry, Socceroos. I think you're going to be eliminated by Spain. All right, they had they only had a draw and then two wins. So yeah, I think that's going to happen there. And then Belgium versus Senegal. If Belgium plays they did the way they did in their third game, then Belgium will definitely win. Uh, if they play the way they did in their first two games, Senegal could be a run for them. But I'm still going to go with Belgium winning this one. Then we get into the other half of the bracket. We got Brazil versus Japan. I think Brazil's going to win this. I think most people do. We got two second place teams, Ivory Coast versus Norway. Ivory Coast is kind of like that feel good team, because they're two of the like underdog teams that really overperformed and pulled off a second seed. But Norway is really good. They are, and I think Norway is going to beat Ivory Coast. You know what? I'd love to see Ivory Coast win. It just makes a good story, but I don't think it's going to happen. Mexico's facing Ecuador. I think Mexico's the better team, and they're going to advance. England's facing the Democratic Republic of Congo, and England's a way better team. They're going to advance. Argentina faces the Tigers, Cape Verde. Um, oh, that's a bad pull, Cape Verde. I really want them to go on. That's such a cool story. The fact that they got second, the fact they haven't been beaten yet. Okay. I wouldn't be shocked though if it's a tie and it goes to a shootout. Because if there's one thing Cape Verde that can do, it's tie. Apparently, they tied all three of their matches. Crazy. But Argentina is a really good team. Messi knows what he's doing. He's not messing around, and I can't really pick them over Argentina. All right. Um, and then we got Australia versus Egypt. Um, this is literally the hardest one for me to pick. Uh, um, I don't know. I'm edging Egypt, but I'm not confident. To me, this is actually one of the games that is really hard to call and really tough. Um, I like what the games Egypt, the way Egypt's been playing a little better than Australia, but I could see myself being wrong there. I definitely would not put money on that game. Then we get Switzerland facing Algeria. Switzerland's going to beat Algeria, and then Portugal facing Ghana. Ghana can be a little mean sometimes. They can be a little dark horsey, but I do think Portugal is gonna win that. Uh, if we then go through the rest of the brackets very quickly, because we don't even know if this is literally what's going to happen, but we're pretty sure there are only a few games I really think that are up in the air for the first bracket because all the third seeds I think are going to lose. Uh, I think I don't have much hope for second seeds beating the first seeds that they happen to be going against. I think, and so that really just leaves interesting two second seeds facing each other. Which I mean, that's pretty much all my questioning ones. And sorry for earlier, I said Australia versus Spain. It's Austria versus Spain. France and Germany will then hit each other. I think France wins. Canada and Netherlands face each other. I think this is where Canada's run ends again, and the Netherlands beat them. Portugal faces Spain. I think Spain's the better team, and I think that's where I think Spain goes on. USA versus Belgium. Uh, in general, the United States is probably not a better team than Belgium, but they have super home field advantage. The fans are going to be behind them. There's a lot of energy. They have been playing really well. They have played better soccer than Belgium has in the group play, and because of that, and the fact hosting teams usually do better than their ranking would suggest, I think the United States pulls it off against Belgium. And then Brazil faces Norway. I think Brazil wins. Mexico versus England. England wins. Argentina, whether they face Australia or Egypt, Messi's going to take care of them. All right. And then Switzerland versus Portugal. I give Portugal the slight edge, but once again, I haven't liked the way they've been playing. And the Swiss might pull it out. Good. Then we get into quarterfinals. France versus Netherlands. I pick France. That's not really a shocker. Spain versus the United States. I think this is where the United States' run ends. And Brazil versus England. I do pick England, but I do think this is like the first time England's really going to get challenged. And then Argentina versus Portugal. I think Argentina is going to beat Portugal. And then that sets up the semis. France versus Spain. England versus Argentina. My picks are that France and England meet in the finals. Spain faces Argentina for fighting for third place. And you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and say England wins. Um, I do think England, in the current shape, has the best chance of winning. And the reason for that is just the road they have to go through. Okay? They they should have no problem until they get to quarterfinals and have to face Brazil. Obviously, all the quarterfinal matches are going to be good teams, but France has to go through Spain. England probably is going to have to go through Argentina, but France has to go through Germany, the Netherlands, Spain. That's a lot. All right, Spain has to go through Portugal and the hosts, the United States, on the United States field. Yes, I think in general France is a better team than England, but I think England has an easier route to get to the finals. And so France is more likely to, at some point, be eliminated on their way to the finals. Now, yes, am I predicting a France versus England, which I think is funny? That's just, and they don't get to, they get to play it in their allies, the United States, which I think that's a very hilarious. They literally have a tunnel that connects their two countries, and they have to go across the world and play it in the United States, who is been a staunch ally of them and fought two world wars with both of them as an ally. So it's like the neutral ground. It's like, no, got to be on neutral ground, and we're neutral ground. We like you both. Um, so that's how I view things coming out. We'll see how well my predictions go, and I'm sure I'm gonna get things wrong because with one game and you're done, things happen, injuries happen, lucky shots happen, people trip at the wrong time, etc. So I am positive I am not going to get this 100% correct. I'm sure there's going to be a surprise or two. There almost always is. But I really wouldn't be shocked if it's England versus France in the final. So let's see how I do. I'll be keeping everyone up to date on how well things go. And I'll see you in the next video.